big investigation after a massive fire. 8 buildings damaged or destroyed.
You know, that process could take weeks to months, to determine that cause there.
Flames, frigid temperatures, and now dozens of families without a home.
They said pack some things. I just threw my purse in the car, and then my cat's the only other thing I care about. I don't care about anything else. Everything else could be replaced.
We have team coverage of the aftermath of the big Ocean View fire. Matt Gregory and Joe Fisher have been at the scene in Willoughby Spit all day long, and video you'll see only on 10 from above the devastation. Chopper 10 shows how widespread the damage is. We'll start off with 10 on your side's Matt Gregory. Now, Matt, you've been piecing together all of the details of this fire and of the damage since this started last night. What new information can you share?
Yeah, Deanna, when we were here last night, it was so hard to actually see the extent of the damage or what was happening between the smoke and all the ice that was coming up. It was very hard. But in the daylight today, as I turned around and looked, you could see everything. And it looked like while we had initially thought only 4 structures were affected, in total 8 structures damaged, 4 completely beyond repair. Now, as far as what caused the fire investigators still don't have an answer to that. They're working to get that. But we might know now where the fire started. Now, this happened around 7 o'clock last night. Nathaniel Rader is a man we met who says he ran over and saw a fire starting on a 3rd floor balcony, and within 20 minutes he says it spread through the whole building and onto another. The high winds just kept feeding the flames, and it took until 10 o'clock to get the fire under control. Like I was talking about, in the daylight you could finally see the damage. In total, 16 units were lost according to a demolition crew I talked to. 8 buildings affected in some way, but this is the most impressive number, and especially when you see the damage. Only 1 person hurt from smoke inhalation. Now, the man we talked to says when the fire started, he ran right towards the flames.
My whole first thought was, make sure people were out of there. I mean, it was a 3rd story, so I didn't know, if it was an actual apartment complex. At this point in time, I was just thinking, help somebody.
Now, based on the magnitude of the destruction we saw today and talking with fire officials, they say it could be weeks, even months before they know what caused this. But if you could see that 3rd floor balcony in one of the apartment or the condos right behind me, that's where they were really focusing in on today. And of course, demolition crews have already begun to clean up here. We'll have more later tonight on WAVY News 10 at 10 on Fox 43. We'll have more on WAVY News 10 at 11 on NBC. In Norfolk, Matt Gregory, 10 on your side.
Matt, thank you. Now, only Chopper 10 can show you this aerial view of the damage. You can clearly see the path of that fire. What was about half a dozen buildings now looks like a smoldering mess. Buildings destroyed, only remnants of wood framing remains, and a lot of property, even some cars, are completely frozen over after they were sprayed by fire hoses. Now, this fire displaced dozens of people that live in that immediate area. They all managed to get out safely. Last night, city officials used HRT buses to keep them warm as shelters were set up to give people a place to stay on the coldest night of the year. 10 on your side's Joe Fisher is live outside the Red Cross, where they're working to help as many people as they can. Joe?
Well, Deanna, about 27 to 30 families without a place to stay again tonight. The Red Cross stepping in to help those families out. I did survey the damage earlier this morning, and I can tell you many of the houses touched by the fire will have to be rebuilt from the ground up. Destruction and devastation. Daylight uncovering the dark reality of Saturday night's 3-alarm fire just off the beach in Ocean View.
I've never seen anything like this. I mean, it's, to me, it's like ground zero.
An iced over nightmare. Heavy machinery brought in Sunday to level out the debris. Smoke still rising from the rubble 24 hours after the fire ignited.
The house over here was engulfed, and the one behind it was burning.
Mike Herron watched as 8 buildings burned, at least 4 to the ground.
The fire was immense. The winds were really playing havoc.
Karen Lyons' home across the street left with just minor damage, but she owns another home in the center of it all, now unrecognizable.
This is our house that we rented out. So there were renters that were living there. They lost their 2 dogs. The renters themselves are fine. I've spoken with them.
The Red Cross stepping in to help dozens displaced. This center set up Sunday afternoon, a warm place to stay, while volunteers identify and help any additional victims.
We've got some food, we've got some snacks, we've got comfort kits. We're processing people so that we can help them with their immediate needs.
Lyons allowed back at her home for a short time to grab a few belongings as firefighters continue to run their hoses and sift through the damage.
Still some hot spots. We have our firefighters out here. We still have our lines deployed.
Thankfully, though, no lives were lost and no firefighters injured. Positive pieces of information at a tough time for this tight-knit community.
It's horrible. It's horrible, and I grieve.
And Norfolk Fire Rescue asking anyone impacted by the fire last night in Ocean View to give them a call for ways that they can help them out tonight. That number 441-5610. We're live in Norfolk tonight. I'm Joe Fisher. 10 on your side.